Hello, and welcome to week 28 in this stitch circle challenge. Before I tell a little more about that, I would like to say a big thank you for those of you who still is hanging on here for over half a year and have done the challenges every week and show the other members and me your fine embroideries in the Facebook group and also on Instagram. So a big thank you to you. It is so lovely and inspiring and nice to see all your embroideries. For those of you who just have hit this video, the Stitch Circle Challenge is a weekly challenge where I set some Dogma rules and you will end up with a small embroidery you can do with whatever you want to do. I have mine here in a book, but you can put them on a scroll or on a board sketchbook or put them in a box. You can do whatever you want to do with them. And I will say here under the video there is some different links. There is a link to the Facebook group, and you can still join if you want to participate. Don't apply if you don't want to participate. We don't want members who is just sneak peeking. We want members who would be active and be a member in this group here. And there also is the link for the playlist for all the other weeks here in this challenge, and there is a link for how you can sew such a cover together. But it isn't a must. But these three things here are under the video. And sorry for those of you who has heard this 27 other weeks. But you never know who jumps in here. So my name is Lisbeth and I'm the host for this Dogma Rules challenge, or this Stitch Circle challenge. And you can see here my cover is quite full already. I'm a little nervous about if it will end up being too fat when the year has gone, and if it has that, I would make another cover and use this cover for something else. But for now it is sitting here, and I have made two signatures. I have just slide in here in this like an envelope flap here, and here I left you last time with week 27, and this is these 2 pages I have left, and I really don't know if I will put anything there, because if I want to make them as one book, I can perhaps glue these 2 pages together here, and then it would end up like one book. Or I can just let it be in 2 books like it is here, and then just start here. And I'm tempted to do that. I can always put something extra in here if I want that, because I think if I glue these 2 together, they would perhaps be too flimsy to could hold all this other stuff here, and perhaps I should just let them be in 2. I really don't know, but I think perhaps, what do I think, if I want to glue them together, yeah, I'm just thinking loud now, I would have these here. So I think I will start there today, and hopefully there are enough pages left, but I can of course count, but I will do that afterwards. But that, yeah, you don't have to hear me talking about all this. The important thing is, let us get started. But my name is Lisbeth, and yeah, I think I've said that already, and many of you know me already. But look at the playlist here below, and on the other links there is here below. So let us get started. So now for this week 28 Dogma Rules. And the rules are as following. 1 piece of fabric in your color choice, but don't make it too dark. It can be light or middle value, but not very dark. Then you trace a circle like we have done it many times before. And then you take some markers of some kind, not too thick, and it has to be permanent markers or acrylic markers. And then you draw a wonky grid inside the traced circle, and I will show you in a little. And by wonky I mean normally a grid is straight line that wide, a straight line that wide, that way, horizontal and vertical. But here you can make them a little diagonal and so. But the lines must only cross each other one time like this. You can't have yeah, I can hardly do it, but something like this, that's not an option. You will have to do it like this, because then you will end up with some small squares, and that is the meaning. That was rule number 2, and rule number 3 is only French knots inside the small squares that have come when you have traced, or you have marked all these wonky lines and all made the grid. And inside the small squares you must sew only one French knot, and you can place it wherever you want inside that little square. And the 4th rule is only to use black thread or a very, very dark thread. So this is the 4 rules for week 28, and I will put them here also under the video, so you quietly can read them and take it in instead of just me blah blah blah. So let us get started. As you can see, I have chosen this curry ochre color, and it is just normal cotton, not so thick. It's not like stout, it is thinner than that. And I like to, when I have some not so chunky or thick fabric, to sew in 2 layers. So that's why I have put an old piece of some sheet or duvet cover or pillowcase, I can't remember, back here. And normally I would take a machine sewing thread, a very thin one, but for the life of me I don't have that color in a machine sewing thread. So I have taken this one, I think will nearly disappear. And then I will do a round of invisible basting, and that is nothing else but come up, and then you go 2 or 3 threads back like a back stitch and go up a centimeter ahead of you. Some of you who are used to sew your own clothes perhaps know these stitches as prick stitches. That's also a name some call them, but I have learned them as basting. Yeah. So I will just go all the way around here. But if you have a fabric that is thick enough so you want to sew directly in it, you don't have to do this. That is just me, and I'm giving you the option of doing this also. But I will go all the way around here, and when I'm done with that, the fun will begin. See you in a sec. So done with the basting, and I can see these small dots here are a little bigger than normal, and that is because I have used this thread, because I don't have the color in a normal sewing thread. But yeah, that is what it is. So now I want to trace a circle, and let me see here. And sorry if my hair or head or anything is coming in here. Yeah, perhaps that is a little bit. Should we go for this one instead? Yeah, I think so. You can use anything to trace your lines with. You can use a plate or a cup or a tin plate if you have such a thing. And I have just this set of things to punch cookies out with. So yeah, they are all different sizes. So that's a nice thing also to use. But I will try to center it here. And I know I will, when I have traced my circle, I know I want to do a round of double running stitches, or you can also do back stitches. That depends on what you like to sew most, but I would like to be able to see the outline of this circle. So that is what I will do first. So I will just take my normal pencil I use for this and don't move it until you are sure you can see your circle. And there it is. And away with that. There. And I will start making this line, sewing this line with double running stitches. Somehow I think, but that is perhaps just me, that my stitches are laying nicer when I do it like this instead of I'm doing back stitches. I think my back stitches yeah, that was the wrong thread. I don't want that thick thread, I want the thinner thread. This was meant for my French knots. So here I have a thinner thread, also in black. But if you're comfortable with sewing back stitches and you can do them nicely, that is up to you. But I will just go all the way around the circle here with my running stitches, and when I have been all the way around and come up here, I will do it opposite, so I will stitch between the stitches. I think it was in one of the first weeks, I think it was week number 2, we made a circle with circles inside in double running stitches in 2 colors, but here I will only make them in black. But you don't need to see me sew all this, so I will sew it and be back. So now I have been all the way around here, and my thread is hanging there, so you can just go 1 stitch ahead or 1 stitch back. That I don't think that matters so much, and you can come up here in the same hole, nearly the same hole, and down here again. And of course, the smaller the stitches, the rounder your circle will be. If you make 2 long stitches, it will go and that isn't so nice. And I think that is why I like to sew back stitches. That's not that, but I think they are so hard to lie straight or curvy the way I want them to be. But we all have our issues. And some like some stitches more than others, and I think we all have our favorites. But I will also stitch this all the way around, and then we can start making the grid. So done with the circle here, so it is traced now. And now we want to make the wonky grid with with a marker of some kind. And depending on where you live and what you have already, find the ones you have and practice on another piece of fabric to find out how thick or how thin you want the lines. I don't mind, I won't have my lines too thick. And it is best if it is a permanent marker. I think you can take a ruler and see. I think this is the thinnest one I have, and I think I will go with that. Here I have a marker with a brush like head, and if I take that and do that, it will be a very thick line, and I don't want that, but that is me. And this one is even thicker, and that would be a really thick line. And all this you can use on other pieces of fabric. If you're working much bigger, then it perhaps would be nicer if you take a bigger pen. But acrylic markers or permanent markers is what you are looking for here. And as I said, I would go for this. This is a Uniball water and fade-proof pigment ink pen, and that it is 1.0. And this is what I will go for here in this week's challenge. And what I mean about a grid is, yeah, how can I show it to you the best way? Do I have a piece of paper? Yeah, I think I have here one in my bin. Those of you who also are journaling or making collages, you probably know what a grid collage is or grid journaling is, but a grid is something like this. This is a grid. And by wonky, I mean, here you have the circle, and you can go like this, and you can see here they are crossing. I don't want you to, for instance, go like this, so they are crossing several places. So only to make small rooms, square rooms. You can see there you get a triangle instead, and that is not what I would like you to do. Square, not a square, but a four-sided room, if you can say so. So that is the meaning. So I will see what I can come up with here. So I think I will, and you of course have to keep inside your lines. And yeah, that was one. You can also just make them freehand if you don't want straight lines. That is also an option. Then they perhaps will be a little more curvy. That could also work. Go up to the line here. Yeah, perhaps it's better to do it this way here. There isn't so much room. Perhaps I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I can always make more if I want to. And now I will go the other way. and some of them are getting bigger and some of them are getting smaller, and that is exactly what I mean by wonky. And you decide how many lines you want, or how far apart, or how close you want them. That is up to you. But don't make them so small that there isn't room for a French knot. I see I haven't got out to the line, but you can always go in afterwards and made it there. And then I think I want one more there. So that is my wonky grid. And this isn't going through here, but some of them perhaps are going through, but now I have double fabric here, so it doesn't matter that much. So now I have this grid, and if you really are in the mood for a lot of sewing, of course you can sew these lines the same way I did the outline here, but I don't want to do this here. This is just a way of showing you an option for how you can make a pattern and do something in this pattern. But of course you can sew it if you want to, but I won't sew it. But what I'm going to do now, I have taken my thickest of my mercerized cotton threads, and I will now make a French knot inside every little square, and I will place them totally random. So hopefully it will be like a, yeah, I don't know what it would look like when I'm done, but we will see. And for those of you who don't know how to sew a French knot, I can show it to you. Perhaps I can come in a little closer there, and also here, and all this thread here, away with that. But the way I do it is I keep my thread in between my thumb and my index finger, and then I have my needle here, and then I twist my thread around. I have done it 3 times now, and I think I will try it with that. And then I keep the tension, and then I go down nearly where I came up, just a couple of threads away. Not in the same hole, because then you will unravel. But here I think it is important to keep the tension. And then I carefully and slowly drag the thread through, and here you can see you have a lovely French knot. And this one I think I will just place here. It's up to you, depending on how thin or thick your thread is, how many wraps you would do, but I will go for 3 here. And if you're sewing with DMC yarn, the 6-stranded yarn, you of course can use, for instance, 1 or 2 threads here, and you can use all 6 or 5 or how many of the strands you want. Yeah, that is to play with also. But again, it is important you will always have your needle here and wrap away from where your thread come up. 1, 2, 3, and down here nearly in the same hole. Keep the tension of your thread and pull it through, and they look so nice. And sometimes something goes wrong, and then you just pick it up or start a new one. And sometimes they go totally wonky, the French knots here, and embrace that or pick them up. That is up to you how neat you want them. But I will continue and let you look a little later when I've done some more. So far, so good. It is always a little nerve-wracking beginning to sew or do what I have come up with first in my head, and then I write it down and correct some things if I think there's something that won't be working. But in fact, I really don't know if it is possible to do it or if it would work until I do it. And I haven't done this before, and many of the other weeks I have done it either. I do it like you would have done it if you, when you see the rules. I haven't practiced done a lot of other swatches or anything. It's very few times I have tried a little to see if it works, but I think this really works. And yeah, so that is what I meant about I'm a little, yeah, it's a little nervy or nerve-wracking to see if it would look okay and if it would work. But I can see now this area here is quite big, so I think I will make another line. About there, and that is something you can do. You don't have to see now I have drawn the lines and then start sewing, and then you can see there's missing something, so draw an extra line. That doesn't matter. So I have done that now, so I will again just start my French knot show here, and fill the last of the small, yeah, I don't know if you call it a square here when the 4 sides doesn't have the same length. I don't know what you would call them. And now there's a bump in my thread because I'm talking and not concentrating on what I'm doing. So there it was. Sometimes it is impossible to unravel it or make it go through, then you must pick it up and start all over again. But I'm glad I backed it up, because it is nicer to have a little more sturdy fabric to sew in instead of a flimsy piece. Yeah, and another one. And I try to place them a little different from where the stitches around are, so they would sit a little differently. That is the only thing I'm thinking of right now. And you can see now, I think I will put it there. One, two, three wraps or turns. Can you also call it turn? there. Okay, but I will make the rest of it and then I will show it to you. So now I am done, and that was a lot of small French knots. So I really hope you like to sew French knots. That is one of my favorite stitches, so I don't mind. And now I can decide which way I want up and down, and I think I like it best this way here. So I will put some double-sided tape here on the back. You can of course sew in your book if you have a book, or you can just put them in a box or do whatever you want with them, and that is totally up to you what you want to do. So I will just place it here and burnish it a little down. There. And I will, before I remove this, I will take a picture so it's lying flat. So I will just do that also. So here I have my book and I have been counting, so it is all right if I start here in my second signature, and I will take it out because I think it is easier to place it here while this is lying flat. And just place it there like this. And I have written the Dogma Rules here on the back already. So that looks very nice. Yeah, I will put it in my book. Here, just slide the last page in the, like an envelope here. There. Yeah, I will take some close-ups and at the end of the video, and I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you will give it a try yourself. I'm really hoping to see a lot of French knots and wonky grids here in the Facebook group and on Instagram. But else I would only say, please give my video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing my little Danish channel. And you can hit the notification bell, not bill, but bell, if you want to be notified every time I'm putting up a new video. But you know, these videos are coming up here every Thursday at the Danish time, about 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, and that is of course other times depending on where you are living in the world, but yeah, you can look for them there. But I'm nearly losing my voice now. I think I'm going down with a cold or something, but I will just say, stay safe, take care, and be creative, and see you next Thursday. Bye bye.